Good, good. How are you? I am Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, and I am extremely excited to be here with our Barclays family. I'm joined by my good friend Brett Yormark, CEO of Barclays Center, our great Assemblywoman Latrice Walker, the Ultimate Fighting Champion middleweight. I told him I want to go a few rounds with him later on today, you know. Chris Weidman, and we're also joined by Antonia Algusa, Director of Explore Brooklyn and Tourism Initiative of Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. We are here for one reason only. We are ready to crown mixed martial arts here in the borough of Brooklyn and the state of New York. It's long overdue that this great economic engine and sport initiative should find its home in the largest arena possible, and that is in Brooklyn and New York City and in New York State. We are excited. This bill has passed the Senate for several years. When I was a state senator, we pushed this bill forward, and the only blocking that we've had over the years is in the Assembly, but now with a group of new Assemblywomen personnel like Assemblywoman Walker, we have a good chance to finally have the bell ring and ensure that we can have a crown come here to the state of New York. This is an important initiative, not only for sports, but also as an economic engine. Mixed martial art generates over $500 million in revenues every year in the United States. New York State is the only state that failed to see or receive any of that economic engine that comes from mixed martial arts. When you look at the numbers, it speaks for itself. Mixed martial arts would generate $5.4 million each year in state and local tax revenues. It also has the potential to expand our economy by $135 million each year. These are real numbers. And when you look at the economic aspect, being a sports lover here in the state, in the borough of Brooklyn, there's also one initiative that people fail to realize, what it teaches young people. Any athlete, from a wrestler to a boxer to a basketball player to a baseball player, they understand how imperative it is to have discipline, how to reach a goal and fit a goal, how to be physically fit. In a borough where obesity is through the roof and the numbers are through the chart, hypertension, heart disorder. A lot of young people, because of being stationary, don't have the opportunity to get the full benefits of having an active lifestyle. Mixed martial arts would be more than a sport that would come and watch in the arena. They will go into the communities to teach young people how to be active, how to be fit, how to be moved. You don't have to be a professional athlete to benefit from what it takes to be an individual who embrace the concept that comes with being an athlete. All you have to do is look to the right of me and see how slim and trim Brett is on his bike every morning. You know, using the athletic appeal to fit into the overall lifestyle of how to be a more better, well-rounded human being. That's what mixed martial arts is going to bring to the state of New York. It is long overdue to bring mixed martial arts to the borough of Brooklyn, to the New York City, and to the state, and we believe this is the year the bell will ring, and we will have the great fights of mixed martial arts right here in the Barclays Center. I want to bring on my good friend and our Assemblywoman who is going to help us push it through, Assemblywoman Latrice Walker.
So I'd like to say thank you to Borough President Eric Adams for always having the foresight to bring very important and even challenging issues to the forefront of our consciousness here in Brooklyn. I look forward to the day when the MMA bill is presented to us for a vote in the Assembly chamber. When our majority leader, Joe Morelli, who's the sponsor of this legislation, was looking for support, I was proud to let him know that I was the tipping number of Assembly supporters that gave him the numbers that he needed and the votes that he needed to get this vote to the floor and also passed. So I look forward this assembly session by which to get it done and get it done right away, particularly because I represent the communities of Brownsville in East New York and Ocean Hill, Bed-Stuy and Bushwick. And we know those neighborhoods to be very challenging as it relates to violence in our community. And the young people there have been calling out for boxing, for mixed martial arts. Number one, just as a ways by which to teach them the discipline that they need. Most people who know anything about martial arts knows that although many of the fighters are lethal, however, the first idea of reaction is to retreat. And that type of discipline is something that is very, very needed, particularly in a neighborhood where we're really trying to stomp out the violence. So I look forward to that, even particularly because one of the things, it's a personal story that isn't my own, but it is a story of a colleague of mine, Assemblywoman Rodneyce Bashad, who talks about being a black belt in MMA. And she shares a story about being in a car accident as a young child and how MMA was therapeutic for her as she was making her transitions to be able to have mobility again. So in support of my sister, my colleague, Assemblywoman Rodneyce Bashad, in support of my majority leader, Joe Morelli, I'm Assemblywoman Latrice Walker, and I am a strong supporter of the MMA bill that's coming up this year. Thank you.
Love it, love it. And we want to now bring on the CEO of Barclays Center, Brett Yormark.
Thank you. Obviously, I want to thank Borough President Eric Adams. He has been a staunch supporter of the Barclays Center since day one, so we appreciate your support, sir. Also, Assemblywoman Latrice Walker, thank you. It's twice in 1 week, as we said earlier. So we've had the opportunity to kind of do some things together for the last week. So, and also, Chris, welcome to the Barclays Center. I know you've been here before. We look forward to you competing here at some point in time, not only here, but when we renovate the Nassau Coliseum in your hometown. So we look forward to that too. As Borough President said earlier, mixed martial arts is the 4th most popular sport in this country. It is legal in 49 states, and it's obviously time for mixed martial arts to come here to New York. We do post-event surveys following every event here at Barclays Center. We've put over 6 million people here since we opened in the fall of 2012, and there is one event our fans want that's not here yet, and that's mixed martial arts. And my goal from day one was to bring the best form of sports entertainment to this borough, and I will not complete that job until MMA is here, and we're hosting, numerous events annually here at the Barclays Center. New York is a hub for MMA fans. If you are on social media, not only fans that come to the Barclays Center, but fans throughout the tri-state area want MMA here in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. And it's time for us to host some of the greatest athletes in the world, and hopefully that will come in 2016. And as the Borough President said earlier, not only is MMA and the UFC such a great form of entertainment, but it does drive the economic engine, and we need that as well. And currently, all other 49 states are realizing that benefit, but us here in New York. So on behalf of ownership and senior management here at Barclays Center, I thank you all for coming, but most importantly, I ask you for your support because it's time, and the time is now. Thank you.
And now I'm bringing up the Ultimate Fighting Championship champion, a middleweight champion, and New York native of Chris Weidman.
I'm ready. I'm very happy to be here. So I'm born and raised on Long Island, still live there. I started off as a wrestler, fell in love with the sport. I first went to Nassau Community College, then went on to Hofstra University, where I was a 4-time college All-American. Then I ended up trying out for the Olympics in 2008, and while I was doing that, I got my master's degree and was coaching at Hofstra University, so I always competed in the state of New York. And it was too bad that when I was a wrestler, there wasn't too many fans and much support and respect for us. So when I would be there, you know, there wouldn't be too many fans. But I was able to transition to mixed martial arts in 2009. Actually, today, 7 years ago, was when I had my first pro mixed martial arts fights. I actually found that out thanks to Twitter today. But it's been a crazy road. I just can't believe that for 7 years since I've been in this sport, I haven't been able to fight in my hometown. And especially when you have 49 other states in the country, and you pretty much can fight any other place in the world besides here in New York, where the history of fighting in New York is so great, from Ali fights, different events that we've had here. And one of the questions I always get asked, you know, living in New York and family members and other people is, you know, what is it? Just it's too brutal of a sport. They like some old people in assembly or something that just think it's brutal, and it really doesn't come down to that. There's just some dirty politics, and what most people don't know is that amateur mixed martial arts is legal here in New York, which has the same rules as professional mixed martial arts. The only difference is that it's not regulated. So all these fighters are actually really unsafe, the fighters that fight here. There's no doctors cage side. There's no blood tests for whatever they got going on in their blood before the fight. So they kind of just go in blind and they're in this cage, and it's unsafe and it's legal. And then after, if they have a bad fight, they have concussion, there's no one helping them. So it's a really unsafe thing, this unregulated mixed martial arts that we have going on here now. So it's not the fact that the sport is brutal, it's that, I don't know what it is. But this year is going to be the year that it gets turned around and I'll be able to fight here in New York. It's a dream come true for me. And, you know, just looking over here that we have the subway that points directly to the Barclays Center. It's a beautiful sight because I know all my friends and family and fans won't have to take a vacation to Las Vegas or Atlantic City. They'd be able to just come in for the night, take the train in, get back on the train, go back home the same night. The only thing they have to pay for is a ticket to the fight and the train ticket, and it's not a bad time. So this is going to be the year, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to having Chris fight here in his hometown, bringing back the championship right here in New York State. We open the floor to any questions if you may have at this time.
So if this bill as it is currently proposed, if this does go through, would then amateur MMA be regulated as well?
Good question. You want to answer to that?
So if this bill as it's currently written, if it goes through, would amateur MMA then be regulated? Yes. Okay.
Someone, I saw another hand up. Someone. We'll see what we can do. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Come here. One of the most important aspects is the economic engine. Good thing, that's what you're good as staffer. We have here Ms. Arusa from the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce has really been excellent on this issue for us, and it's all about commerce.
Good afternoon. I'm Antonina Agruza, the Director of Brooklyn Tourism at the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. A huge thanks to Borough President Adams for leading this effort and gathering us all here today. Many thanks to the Barclays for hosting us, and we really appreciate the support of Assemblywoman on this matter. Also, Assemblyman Perry. As many of you know, the Borough President's Office and the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce have recently partnered on tourism initiatives moving forward. And we support the MMA and NYC because it will bring a major destination event to the borough. And when Barclays Center is full, so are our restaurants, our bars, and our stores. When the stores are full, jobs are created. And that is good for Brooklyn tourism, and Brooklyn tourism is great for Brooklyn and our businesses. Thank you.
And let's wrap up with Nick Perry. Come on, Nick, you know, because you're the real ultimate fighter.
Good afternoon. I was just practicing my martial arts before I got here. Sorry to be late, but it was important for me in the bad weather to get here to publicly clear my very strong support. I know that I can assure you that there are at least 23 members of the Black, Hispanic, Asian, Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian Legislative Caucus who are co-sponsors on the bill. And I believe that there are more who will come on board. New York is the only state where we have this resistance to something that everybody else is reaping significant economic and financial benefits from. Usually, we are the leaders. We set the pace for others to follow, but we are really standing sort of tone deaf and blind to the reality. And I think it's time we get ourselves together in the right direction and not be the only block in the way of something that the people want. I think we need to do a vote on this, let the people's voice be heard. Cannot afford, and it's just not economically sound or feasible, prudent for us to be held up by a organized minority. New Yorkers want this sport, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that the people's voices are heard. Thank you.
When do you anticipate a vote? Because you have a budget due and all that. When do you expect it to come to the floor?
Any questions?
Bill is not in the budget, so it's not a budget.
Will it be before the budget?
It's not a budget item. And okay, the governor has it in the budget. You know, some things in the budget are difficult, and they're sometimes poison pills. They hold up the budget, and eventually we take them out. I don't think that this is one of them. I believe that there is sufficient support, and the fact that it's in the budget means that it will be taken up. We just have to make sure we don't get stopped by some voices that have been strong and successful in blocking a vote. I look forward to voting for it. It's going to pass, I'm sure. We probably have a nice, interesting debate, and like to have some backup, bring the whole team up, and because it's going to be a fight. You got to win it. Thank you.
Mr. Ready?
Thank you.